Hey guys, welcome back. Got another big package from CGC. I guess medium-sized package. There's 9 or 10 books in here. They're all vintage, so stick around. Let's get into it. Alright guys, don't forget, still giving away X-Men 1 Special Collector's Edition, #1. This is the gatefold, 4-fold cover. This is the highest selling comic book of all time. All you got to do to get entered is leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and you're entered. More videos you comment on, the higher chance you have to win this. So leave a comment, free book. Let's get into these CGC books. They did that very crappy bubbly thing again, so they're going to be a little hard to pull out. So bear with me as we go through these. This was a vintage submission I had. It's been at CGC for, I think, 4 months, so it took a while. So we'll just go through it. We'll talk about each book as we go. First book up, Tales of Suspense, 92. This came out of a lot of, I think there was like 10 Tales of Suspense books that I bought from Heritage, and they were all 9.0 or betters. So I cleaned them up and pressed them and had them submitted. So hopefully these are all above 9.0. Let's see what we got. 9.4. Off-white to white pages, so yeah, that's pretty good. Again, that's kind of what I was looking for in the 9.0 or above 9.0, so 9.4 is good. Obviously I'd love to have a 9.6 or 9.8. It's not a key book by any means, but like a 9.8 of a book from the 60s, it doesn't matter what it is. Especially prominent characters like this with Captain America and Iron Man go for a lot, so a 9.4, I'm pretty happy. I can't really complain about that. And again, all the books in this lot were just absolutely, they were gorgeous. They're some of the best 60s books I've seen. Next up, Tales of Suspense 96. Again, keep in mind we're looking for 9.0s or better. 9.4 white pages. Yeah, that's another win. Again, 9.6 or 9.8 would have been better, but not going to complain. I'm probably going to check out the notes on these and see what it says. I don't know that there's any obvious things other than it's just an old book. You see little tiny chips here and there. This one actually has some of the paint. When they used to deliver them to the newsstands back in the day, they'd have a bundle of like 20 and they'd spray paint the end of them. So you, on the back of that, you probably can't see it. There's a little bit of overspray, but they usually don't give you a ding for that unless it's really bad and like affects the artwork. So being on the back, I'm sure that's not anything that has any impact on the grade. Next up, Tales of Suspense number 90. Again, none of these are really keys. They're just high-grade Silver Age books. 9.0 off-white to white pages. So again, 9.0 or better was the goal, so we hit the goal. This one does have a little bit of crunch on both of the inside corners, and there's a little tiny piece out on the bottom opening side of the book. So this was probably the lowest of all the grades. I really do like the Silver Age Red Skull. I mean, that's a great visual. Just good artwork. I think Gil Kane did the cover on these. He was pretty consistent with Tales of Suspense. Did a lot of that stuff back then. So next up. Okay, so this one I knew was going to get a green label. So Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane. This is a key book. I was hoping for 6.5, 7.0-ish on this. So if we're in that range, I'm going to be happy. 7.0 off-white pages. Yeah, so this actually has a coupon cut out of it. Doesn't affect the story, doesn't have any impact on it other than that. So first Silver Age Catwoman. Pretty big book. Obviously, it would have been nice to have this in a blue label, but I can't fix a coupon missing, so not much I could do there. It's a really solid book. Like, it feels really nice. It does have some tearing at both of the staples, and then just some general wear. There's also some staining right on the edge, some like dust shadowing that you can't really do a whole lot with. But all in all, like I said, 7.0 is pretty good. I knew it was going to be qualified because the coupon's missing, but again, first appearance Silver Age Catwoman in a fairly good grade. Not going to complain about that. Alright, I do not like these bags they're using. Alright, next up, Silver Surfer 3. So this isn't a high grade copy. This is the first Mephisto. This is probably like a 5.5. So again, it's just a pretty big key, especially from a Silver Surfer standpoint. Hopefully Mephisto makes it into the MCU. That would be very good for this value of this book. Ooh, 7.0. Wow, that's surprising. Square bounds are always hard for me to gauge. I'm pretty good at pressing them, but it's got a good little tear in the corner here. I thought they'd really ding me for that. Looks like maybe they didn't. Yeah, that's wow, 7.0. I'm surprised this didn't actually get a bump in tier, just because the value of a 7.0 is pretty decent. So yeah, this is the first appearance of Mephisto. Again, if you're into the Fantastic Four or Silver Surfer, Mephisto's a pretty big deal, pretty big bad guy. So yeah, wow, I'm really happy with that. Can't complain at all. Again, with CGC, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's a win, so I'll take it. I'll take the wins when I can get them, because I've definitely taken some losses, had some L's along the way. Next up, X-Men '89. You guys know me. This is just filling holes. So hopefully we're 8.5 or better. That's kind of where we're hoping to be. Ooh, 9.6. Yeah, I'm sure I looked at this book and thought it was a high grade book, but again, my goal is just to be above 8.5 on anything from like 70 or later. The earlier stuff, yeah, I'm looking for any grade, and just gradually increase the grade that I have. So if I have a 6.0 and I can pick up a 6.5 reasonably, I want to do that. But yeah, 9.6, that's pretty good. That's probably near the top of the census. I would imagine there's not a lot of 9.8s of this book. Again, it's not a key. It's just an early 70s X-Men book. And a 9.6. And I'll tell you this, if you guys haven't recognized this yet, almost every submission I submit is going to have an X-Men book in it. Unless it's a modern submission, it's almost guaranteed. So if you don't like the X-Men, you probably shouldn't watch my channel, just because it's always going to have X-Men. So this was a good one. Conan the Barbarian 1. This is the first Conan the Barbarian. This was one I picked up really cheap as a low grade, and I thought I could improve it. So I want to say I was thinking this was going to be in the 5.5, 6.0 range, but I can't remember. It's been 4 or 5 months ago. So yeah, 6.0. So again, first Conan. It's the first appearance of Conan, first appearance of King Cole. He's in a cameo. It's early Barry Windsor Smith art. He did the cover. Roy Thomas story. So again, this is just a cool book. I'm not a huge Conan fan. I like the movies in the 80s. All in all, it's just a cool book to have. This is a good Bronze Age key book. This is one that, you know, is always on the list as the top 25 or top 50 key books to own. So glad I got one. I'm keeping that. That's for me. I'm not going to sell that. Somebody did ask, do I buy books to sell or do I buy them to keep? I mean, it just depends. If I improve on what I have, I'm going to sell it. If it's something I buy specifically to sell, like the Savage Tales 1, bought it raw, had it graded, got a really high grade. I bought that specifically to sell because I know it can increase the value. And I just use that money to buy more comic books because, you know, it's like a drug. Action Comics 254. So this is an early Superman from 1959. 3.0 cream to off-white pages. So yeah, not great. This is the first adult Bizarro. It's a pretty major key from Superman standpoint. The spine is really trashed. It's got a lot of staining. There's a little piece of tape on this staple. A lot of spine ticks. It's got some color fade. It presents really nicely. You know, if you take this away and just look at it, it looks like a really good book. It just when you look at it up close, it's got a lot of defects that aren't really pressable defects. And this is one I bought for me. I like the early keys. I like any book from the 50s and the 40s. I really, you know, it's not a golden age book, but it's right on the edge of the golden age stuff. Early Superman, usually you can pick up fairly reasonably. Action Comics and Superman books, I don't know why. I don't know if they just made a lot of them, but they're pretty easy to come by. But some of the keys are, you know, tough to get in good grades. All the keys, like the first Bizarro, stuff like that, they hold some value. It's just, there's so many Action Comics. You can go in any comic book store, you can find 12-cent Action comic books for $5 all day long. Like, if they're not keys, they're $5, $8. Not very expensive at all. Next up, X-Men 64. Again, we're just filling holes with this book. 7.5 off white to white pages. That's a little disappointing. This is the first appearance of Sunfire, so it is a key. But hey, I was probably hoping for an 8.0, 8.5 in this. But again, it's a key book, so I'm not so disappointed to have the lower grade on it. You know, it's, again, the cover looks fantastic if you just hide the edge. There's several spine ticks on there, so 7.5 isn't actually that disappointing when I look at the book. It's got a color breaking lower. It was like wrinkled at one point here along the top, and a little dog ear on the corner. Back looks really nice. Not that you ever look at the back of a comic book, but there's no staining, no fading, no dirt. It's really clean back. 7.5, first appearance of Sunfire, Shiro Yoshida. And last book. So this one's kind of a unique one. This is kind of like a deep cut comic book. So this is Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love #1. Technically, this is the Love comic books. What makes this really cool is one of the stories in this is done by Wes Craven. So if you don't know who Wes Craven is, he's a famous horror writer. He wrote Nightmare on Elm Street, along with a lot of other pretty important 80s horror stories. So 8.5, off-white to white pages, so that's pretty good. This has those manufacturing wrinkles. There's like 2 of them right here. And then there's one on the back that almost is like a triangle coming out. I don't know if they dinged me for those. I would say that since it's an 8.5, they probably didn't, because it is definitely a manufacturing defect. It's not something you can get rid of. The biggest thing that's a defect on this is down in this corner. It's got a really bad crunch right on the edge and some tearing. And there's some little, I don't know if it's foxing or staining here on the back that I just couldn't get out. It almost looks like someone had heat to it. Like maybe they put something like that was really hot next to it and it almost like charred the paper. So I'm guessing that's the big dings they gave me, and they didn't hit me for the manufacturing wrinkles. But again, it's a one-page story by Wes Craven is really what makes this book important and a key. And again, this was early Wes Craven. So this is 1971. I think Nightmare on Elm Street, the movie, came out in like 84, 85. So this was, 15 years before that. I don't know when he wrote the story for it, but the movie came out, 15 years later. So early Wes Craven work. So again, I bought this for me, just for the PC. I think it's a really cool book. It's not an easy book to find, just because not a lot of people collect the Love books. So the Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love. I think this only ran like 6 or 8 issues, the series. I don't think it was like a long running issue. But it is like a horror style love book. So I have not read the story, so I could not tell you any details of it. But I'm pretty happy with that. 8.5, off-white, white pages. Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love #1. First page text, or one-page text story written by Wes Craven is what it says in the notes. That's all we got, guys, for this time around. Again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I don't have a lot at CGC, but we do still have some stuff going. I got a CGC JSA authenticated book I'm hoping to get back soon, hoping that the signature gets authenticated so you guys can see that when I get it back. And then don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, get a chance to win this free book. I'll send it anywhere in the world, free of charge. 9.8 to $100 book, and it's free. So all you gotta do is spend 2 minutes with me. Thanks again. I appreciate you popping in, taking the time to hang out with me. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, check out my other videos, and we'll catch y'all next time. See ya.